Have you ever wondered why Muslims have teamed up with radical liberal groups, including the Democratic Party here in the U.S.? The liberal left does not agree with most of the things that Muslims agree with, including Sharia law, but they have teamed up together. This is Randy Osborne with the Florida Government Watch and the Nehemiah Project. Muslims and liberals are normally on totally opposite corners in most political and social areas. For example, the penalty for homosexuality in most countries is death, normally by being stoned or being thrown off a building. But here in the U.S., it appears Muslims are more of a moderate, gentler group that embrace LGBT lifestyles and rights. Liberals will go on and on about defending women's rights, but Muslims treat women as second-class humans. Liberals are hostile to Christianity, but will defend Islam as a peaceful and beautiful religion. Liberals promote open borders, and so do Muslims. However, they are closed to the idea of our U.S. Constitution while promoting, again, Sharia law. U.S. Muslims support socialized medicine and welfare. They take full advantage of all the free things America has to offer. But that's not the case under Sharia law in other countries around the world. Why is there such a difference with Muslims here in the U.S. compared to many other places? Well, I believe the answer can be found actually in two places. One is in the Quran, and the other is in places in Europe such as France and other countries. First, what happens is Muslims will flood a country through immigration while working their way into society, as well as through high birth rates. They will call anyone who is opposed to their agenda as a racist, homophobe, bigot, and Islamophobe. I have become all too familiar with these tactics. When they believe they have a population to impose Sharia law and overtake a community or country, they will. I'll give you an example of that. Dearborn is a classic example of that here in America. Another example of this was the coup in Egypt in 2013, when the Muslim Brotherhood overthrew the Egyptian government. In fact, some Muslim Brotherhood leaders from the United States were seen in Egypt assisting in this coup. They were not able to hold power due to a lack of sufficient numbers. But this same model is also the case in France, whereas the Muslim population will soon overtake this country. Because of America's constitutional representative form of government, the goal of organizations such as Council for Islamic Relations, better known as CARE, which also, by the way, is a front for the Muslim Brotherhood, is to actually weaken this nation and cause it to collapse. In Islam, the way to achieve peace is through three things. Number one is settlement, and that's through population growth. Secondly is through jihad, and the third is the institution of Sharia law. It is not to compromise. It's not to be tolerant of other religions. In fact, you will never find that in the Quran or any other historical data on Islam. And it's not to allow non-Muslims to exist and live their lives as they wish. Sirhaj Wahaj, he's a black convert to Islam. He's a recipient of some of American Muslim community's highest honors. He had the privilege of becoming the first Muslim to deliver the daily prayer in the U.S. House of Representatives. And this is what he said, and I quote, "If we were united and strong, we would elect our own emir," that is a leader, "and give allegiance to him. Take my word, if 6 to 8 million Muslims unite in America, the country will come to us." An Islamic form of deception is actually called taqiyya. Muslims are even permitted to disavow Islam and Muhammad if it's not a genuine, heartfelt rejection. Muslims will tell you that concealment of a truth is not abandonment of that truth. if it benefits Islam. Things as, quote, we all worship the same God, or women have more freedoms under Sharia law than women in the U.S. Basically, taqiyya is a practice that permits a Muslim to do anything or say anything, though it may be deceptive, to promote their religion. Let me be clear. Liberals and Islam have one goal in America, and that is a total destruction of Western civilization. Islam teaches this, but the problem is that pesky U.S. Constitution that gets in the way. I hope this gives you a clear perspective on sealing our borders and stopping our children from being indoctrinated into anti-American philosophies. The job is up to you.